So we got the movie Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and unfortunately it did not move the dial for me, and I do apologize because I'm late. I was sick last weekend, so I couldn't do the video, but the movies and YouTube, so we are here. So is this movie worth it to go in IMAX? Honestly, probably not. It's not filmed for IMAX. You only get one aspect ratio. I think Dolby is probably better for the sound and brightness, even though I did not see the whole screen utilized like I do with other movies here on this review channel. Although it is the last movie for the character, it's not bad though. Still a good time, and that comes to you with the article Forbes, so I'll link below so you can check it out. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is an action-adventure fun exploration movie following the character of Indiana Jones as he explores and encounters and retrieves the Dial of Destiny that could change the course of history, and one last hurrah for the character as he travels into the sunset. The movie opens up with a typical Indiana Jones sequence action, but is relevant to the story because some of them are not. It picks up with him in the late 1960s in Chicago, which is where I'm from, teaching a class of archaeology in this college students trying to pass the exam. After many years, Helena Shaw, his godfather, comes back into the fold, and she is so interested in this Dial of Destiny that she wants to find two halves before it gets into the wrong hand, so she can encounters the thing that drove her father mad, which of course, like they said in the movie, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Sure, she is definitely tackling what her father was going after in the other movies, especially what they set up in the previous films as well as in the beginning of the opening sequence. Pulled out of the rubble, Indiana Jones saddles back as he encounters Helena in her journey to retrieve the Dial of Destiny before it goes into the hands of the evil. And I'm gonna be very honest with you guys, I was never interested in the character Indiana Jones when I would see him in like Legos or when I would see him in Fortnite. I'm just not that type of guy, and it's not me being rude. I think it's just a preference for me. Let me break it down for you. I am more of a cyberpunk, house music, futuristic, neon, martini, house music type guy, and nothing with Indiana Jones excites me. I mean, yeah, I'll go see it because of YouTube and the movies and like in theaters and my love for it, but it's just mostly preference. And like, I'm not trying to be rude at all. It's just not for me. Now, seeing the movie, I appreciate it for the art of cinema and I appreciate it for the art in the movies, but did I like the character more? No. Am I gonna go see other movies? No. It just didn't get me interested. Like, I'm thankful that I got to watch it. Always experience great at the theaters, but at the same time, it's like, this isn't for me. Like, I don't like jungles and all that. Like, I mean, I do like Uncharted video games, but that's mostly set in the modern era and that has like romance into it. I mean, yeah, there's some romance here, but it's like very few and far between. But at the end of the day, I'm not really that type of guy. Like, Indiana Jones and me, like, we're two different people. Now, yes, James Bond is a whole different story because that's like technology, that's women, that's martinis, that's like lively. Like, that's amazing to me because it's like amazing tech. But Indiana Jones is just, it's just, I don't want to say it's old school like World War I, World War II, 1960s. Like, I'm not really about that, and I'm being very like honest with you guys. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Like, look at this. Like, I'm neon, I'm anime, I'm like, Indiana Jones, cool. I can understand why people like it, but it's just not me. And I'm sorry to say that, but I still have to check it out for YouTube and us. Basically, what I got from this in IMAX is amazing jungle-packed chase sequences, multiple set pieces that take place through the course of the film throughout the world. However, honest truth, and this is not me banking on the film, even in IMAX, I felt like 40% of the movie was dark. The beginning, kind of towards the middle, when they go into the caves, they're trying to find exploration, clues, problem solving. It's that type of movie, like, oh, let's get to the clues, let's figure this out for this cave, for this tombstone, like, let's do this archaeology. Oh my gosh, we have to go west. Like, that's what this movie is about. But even though I saw it in IMAX, even with that typical like bigger screen, louder sound, I still felt like it was dark. Like, yes, you could definitely see what the characters are doing like in the chase sequence, but I'm like, wow, like I had to like really focus on that. Like, it's, I mean, it's typical. It's not just this movie, but I'm just letting you know that even in IMAX, it was still dark. I was like, oh my god. Like yeah, I get it. There's no like lights in the 1960s. I mean, there is, but not like all the time. But I was just like, it's a little dark for my taste. I mean, of course, we travel across the globe to travel archaeology, problem solving, but still, even with those dark scenes, like with the pirates, with the clues, it felt a little dark. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I watching? Like, ugh. But it's typical for every movie, it's not just this, you know? It's common for it to be dark. The movie jumps between past and present as we meet the de-aged Indiana Jones played by Harrison Ford in his late 30s or early 30s. And I gotta say, the de-aging technology is pretty not bad. I really did believe in, I'm like, oh wow, like he's 30 years old. But yes, I guess you have to spend your belief because some of the stunts that he does, like when he's crawling over things, when he's climbing over things, when he's chasing down the bad guys, when he's meeting up with his team, it feels a little like, oh my gosh, like him in like his late like 90s or 80s or 70s. Can he do that in his like late elderly life? I'm like, wow. So of course you gotta like spend disbelief, but I just have a good time with it. And I can see why he really liked this role. Other than he didn't like Star Wars, I can see why he likes this. I mean, this is his last journey. This is a guy who's set to like retire into the sunset, but the world pulled him back. So I thought that was pretty cool that it took him into his last journey. He's like, I'm way too old for this, which I did find pretty cool. Helena Shaw is not just beautiful, but she's also interested in mathematics, archaeology, type of the adventure that her father Basil Shaw, but I feel like she is kind of more the comedic tone, comedic relief for the movie, but she's also searching for the Dial of Destiny, but I feel like it feels like the intentions are for the wrong reasons. Mads Mikkelsen as a villain is amazing as always. He's played other villains like James Bond, which of course I mentioned here a few times, but he's like the anti-agonistic of Indiana Jones. He's like him in a similar way, but he's just with the Nazis. He's like evil purposes. He has henchmen at his feet. So it's a cool, thrilling ride, especially in the third act, which really got to me. I thought some of the things that they pulled off with like the Dial of Destiny and the way the movie ends up, I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. But that's like one out of like the whole 2-hour and like 20-minute runtime. As you can see, this is not for me. Like, I'm being honest, like I do appreciate it and I do like it and I had a surprisingly pleasant time with it, but this isn't for me, and that's okay. Like, not movies for everybody, and this is just being honest, like, you know. But I'm excited for Mission Impossible and of course like James Bond stuff. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give this a C-, and I saw this in IMAX, so your results may vary. And I'm sorry guys, I'm still trying to feel better, so bear with me. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Maybe consider hitting that like button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that, take care, bye.